Art, let's go to bed.
Boom, boom, boom.
Go to bed.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay, we're broadcasting.
Art, let's go to bed. Go to bed.
You have your Audacity. You guys have? Do you have your Audacity up?
Yeah.
All right,
Go to
Robbie. We are live. Let me know when you're ready to start Audacity.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Wait.
Whoa.
Sorry. Okay, now I'm ready. Sorry.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay,
We are recording.
we are recording.
Okay.
This episode doesn't seem like it's going to be long.
Nah, I mean, we always say that, but this one I think actually could be really short.
Yeah, because I don't know what news really we're going to hit.
Yeah. I mean,
I have one. The this Batman game that's leaked.
Okay.
Hold on. All right, I'm telling you right now, Shannon, that I'm about to type.
That's fine.
Okay.
Because we're nowhere near the intro, so everything before this is just going to get cut anyway.
Okay. Batman game leaked.
That is an angry sounding keyboard, though. I will say that.
Because he's so strong, dude. He's got that strength.
It's because that stupid. I got the new MacBook Pro that has the indented keys, and that's just what it is. Okay, I'm gonna put this article in here so you guys can see this because I don't know if y'all have.
Okay.
I have no idea. This is legit. Like, this is the first leak that I've seen in a while that is definitely real. Here we go. I just put it in there. It's above the weekly console.
Yeah, consultation. Yeah. Okay.
So just to give you the brief overview, apparently it's going to get announced on the 26th, like fully announced. But it's called Outlaws, and it looks like it's set in Arkham's universe.
Let me skim it real quick.
Is that document up in Google Docs right now, Zach?
Yeah, it's episode 49.
I don't see it. Let me see.
Here, I'll shoot it to you real quick.
Yeah, I got 48, but I don't have 49.
Right. Sure. All right, it's emailed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, freaking it all.
Waiting. Enhance.
So this could be the Rocksteady game that's not a Batman game, huh? But
well, because a couple weeks ago, happened where it sounded like the description was and I'll say this on the pod, but it was like a loot-based open world game in the Arkham universe.
Okay.
And I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like, but that was the leak. And then this happens today. And apparently like 2 sources have this. So I'm actually kind of surprised that none of the big sites outside of Games Radar has been running this, but whatever. But anyway, we can start. I just wanted to get that so we could at least have something interesting to talk about.
Well, let me know when you guys want to roll.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah,
I mean, how are my audio levels? Does it sound like I'm across the room, or does it actually? Am I coming good?
You sound good.
All right.
You sound good, man.
All right. Well, let's go. Everyone got their burps. Everyone got their bodily fluids under control.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode 49. Well, we're going to be on 50 next week. All right. For April 23, 2019. And this week, we're going to cover some upcoming games. It's a little slow week this week as far as just general news is concerned and whatnot. So I think people are starting to round up before E3. So we're just going to touch on some things that are going to come up in the release calendar here. There are some new Rocksteady rumors worth talking about that kind of hit today and could bleed out over the course of next week. So we'll discuss that. In-game hype is reaching peak levels with Fortnite grabbing some Avengers promos. And we're at the end of all this, we're going to announce the next movie franchise we will be ranking. Stay tuned. It'll be fun. But to do all of that with me, as always, I have Mr. Shannon Moore.
Happy birthday to us. How you guys doing?
Good. We made it a year.
I know, right? Who would have thought?
Well, me and you, and we grabbed Robbie halfway through and strapped him to the side of this thing. But, hey.
That's right.
We're still here. Somehow we're still here.
We took a duck, we took a raccoon, and a possum and duct taped them together and made a magical beast. I like it.
And his name is Mr. Robbie Seldenpool. Hi, Robbie. How you doing?
Doing very well, man. I may need some coddling and some holding. I just the reason why we're recording so late is because my wife and I wanted to finish watching Infinity War for the freaking 12th time, and once again I tear up every time that jerk face Thanos wins, even though I know it's going to happen. But just the opening of that movie still gives me chills when he freaking beats Hulk like he's a freaking redheaded stepchild, and then again at the end, or I'm sorry, the Thor moment with Rocket Raccoon where he's like opening up and being honest, like again shows Chris Hemsworth acting range. But then at the end, man, when because this is just little things that you don't notice, and you only notice them after you've seen it for 12 times. But after he snaps and he goes away, like Cap's honest to God, where'd he go?
Yeah. Like
what happened? Where did he go? And then and you as the audience, because I remember watching it for the first time, you as the audience sitting there, okay, what's about to happen? Because like you don't know how they're going to die. You don't know what half the universe really means. And then
it's one of those like, okay, did half the people disappear and we just don't know it yet? Like what's going on? And then one by one, they start to just turn to dust. And it's like, oof, very, very impactful.
2 days away, guys. We are 2 days. Well, by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be past Avengers Day. So happy Avengers Day.
Yes. And I will be seeing it Sunday. I've got my tickets.
Thursday at 7.
I think I'm going to try to hit Saturday at 7:00.
Lisa and I hired one of my college students a month ago to do this. We were not going to be spoiled by this, and Lisa has a 3-day drill this weekend. So we knew that if we didn't see it opening night, we weren't going to get to see it till after. So
now there is something coming up this week that it's near and dear to my heart, and it's one of those things where people that follow gaming culture and just kind of geek culture in general, they tend to get made fun of a lot. They get called nerds often and things like that. I am planning my entire week. I have been planning Thursday, not around in-game. I have been planning for literally weeks, if not a month, to sit on my couch and watch grown men in suits announce names of other grown men in suits that will play on a team months from now. I am talking about the NFL draft. It is the dumbest thing. I will be the first to admit is the stupidest thing, but I love it so much.
You know why? Because it's amazing.
I can't even put it into expression how much I love the NFL draft, but I plan my entire day around it. I'm getting off work early. I have a food plan. Like I've done homework for it. I'm
so Zach. So I'm like you, my dear brother in arms. Besides this year and last year, I always had people come over. Like we have a party, we'd have wings. It would just be an awesome hangout.
Oh yeah.
But because Disney hates me and does not care about my desires, to watch these things, they have scheduled their Avengers film on the exact same night of the opening the first round of the NFL draft, and so I've had to make an executive decision. This year more than anything, I wish I could have seen an in game on Friday, because I think this year's draft, it does not have the best players top to bottom. It does not have the most premium talent, but there's so much drama in this draft.
It's going to be well. And see, the thing is, it's so dumb. Like
it is.
It's one of those things. Like I get excited and I start talking about it, and then I find myself in this place in the middle of this conversation that I've had with multiple people where I'm like, I sound like a raving lunatic when I'm talking about it. Like,
no, you don't. You know what you sound like? You sound like a freaking full-blooded American man. Right? That's what you sound like. Okay, and I'm going to tell you something. You know why you should be excited, sir? Because your team owns the narrative of the draft. You have 3 picks in the first round, one of which I believe you're going to turn into 2 other picks. And all you have to do, all John Gruden has to do, is draft 3 defensive players, and your team will immediately be 3 games better than you were last year.
So you say that like it's so easy. You know,
it's true. You do have Chucky, the guy who got rid of your best pass rusher and then complained about not having a pass rush all season.
I'm mentally fortifying myself that he's going to consolidate all 3 picks into Kyler Murray, and it's going to be a night of heavy drinking in my house if that happens. I'm just going to put it that way. But I
won't lie to you. I'm sorry. One last thing that we can move on. I will be calling you when I get out of in game to ask you how you feel about that your first round of the draft. I'm going to call you and ask you. So you know.
I will answer. I'm not. We will see the mood I'm in when I answer that phone call.
I apologize.
But enough of my sick and twisted.
Enough of this gross sports talk.
Yeah, because again, no one's playing a game for months, and I can't get enough of it. More trades, more intrigue. Tell me about.
It's because the NBA normally the NBA owns the offseason. The NBA owns the drama, the soap opera, the trash talk. They own that. It's so awesome in a lot of ways with the NBA. And the NFL really doesn't have that. But this year, there is some of that. And
the NBA or the NFL owns everything. I mean, they are airing the first round of the draft on 3 networks.
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that one real quick. 3 different networks are airing the first round of the NFL draft. Just the money for that is insane. And it always cracks me up how there's usually a round 2 NBA playoff game happening around the same time. And it'll beat it in the ratings 3-1. It's not even close, you know? And it's just, like I said, all it is guys standing up and reading names. That's literally all it is. But whatever. It's good times. So sorry that I made you listen to all that, but I just had to get that out of my. I'm really excited, you guys. I'm really excited. But yeah, you can get at us at all the usual means. You've been listening long enough. You know how to do it. I don't want to read all that crap. Twitter and website and blah, 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 Facebook group. Actually, get on the Facebook group. Facebook group's the one where we all interact the most anyway. And shall we move on to some industry buzz?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Okay, so this week we wanted What? Huh?
I'm sorry. I have to give you this breaking news. This is the first piece that we're going to have. I did not tell you about this, but Shannon, put your mother freaking earphones on because you want to hear this, because you and I are about to have some happiness, and then Zach is going to throw a big pile of crap on it because that's what he does.
What's going to happen?
So on June 9th, which is normally the day that Sony would have presented at E3, Square Enix is having their show, and they are having their first ever concert dedicated to Final Fantasy VII.
Wow. All right.
There is not a chance in hell that Final Fantasy VII Remake is not getting some sort of trailer or announcement at this E3 if they're doing that. Can you at least give me that, Zach? I know the game may never come out, but can you at least give me that?
No. Not at all. This is like the most square thing ever for them to be like, it's a Final Fantasy concert. You guys remember how great the music of Final Fantasy was? Yeah, weren't you working on that remake? What?
Huh? Yeah, I know.
Who said
was it.
remake? What?
This is what we were doing. This is right here.
Yeah, we were just talking about how great this music was. Why y'all talking?
Shannon,
it'd be like the Chappelle skit with Black Bush where he knocks the pitcher of water over and runs away from the table.
Shannon, do not let his negativity bring you down, sir.
Dude, I hope it does. But like, what's the best outcome for this? Right? Is they do this symphony or they do this musical thing, and then what? Like they show a preview, and then what would be a happy date for you? Like, because I still see this being like 2021.
Okay, so
don't get me wrong. Like, I want to hear like some operatic people live go Sephiroth.
Well, apparently it's a symphonic reunion of this game, and so we're gonna hear Broken Winged Angel or One Winged Angel or whatever, which is gonna be awesome. For honest true to God, and all kidding aside, and honestly, the jokes are very much warranted. But I firmly believe that if they give me a date like, hey, spring 2020. Like if they say spring 2020, that will excite me, and that at least lets me know, hey, there's potential that this game will release.
No, remember, it'll be episode 1, spring 2020.
Well, the thing is, we haven't heard anything about that in 2 years, and so I'm curious. I'm curious if all the backlash, if they still do the episodic stuff.
I think yes. Because I mean, you've already invested in doing all of these segments, so you're probably polishing up that first segment really, really well. Like they're probably like not going to be like, oh crap, like let's just put the whole game out. Like I think they're going to stick to it because they're going to be like, look, the first part of this game is going to look great, and then the rest of this game is going to look like a pile of dog poo poo. Well,
so, the thing is, and Colin Moriarty of Colin's Last Stand made this point, and I think he hit Final Fantasy VII is one of his favorite games ever, but he made a great point. We live in a world where The Witcher 3 exists. There's no freaking way Final Fantasy VII has to be split up into 3 games because of how big it is.
Final Fantasy VII isn't big anymore.
No, it's
it
not.
Was big 20 years ago, but
it's like Mass Effect 2. Now. Like I compare it the size to Mass Effect 2. Like I could be like you honestly
like a freaking God of War compared to it. Like
yeah, that's fair.
Like it's not like these aren't unusually take the last 3 Assassin's Creed games. Like these aren't.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
These are that's not a novel thing anymore. It's just not.
And so again, I'm sorry to commandeer that opening segment, but I saw that and there was just no way to contain my excitement because for what now 4 years. Almost 4 years now, I've heard Zach's bullcrap on why Final Fantasy VII is never going to happen.
You missaid Zach being right. But yes, please continue.
For the love of God, I hope they announce. I hope.
I love that. Like one of your main motivators, besides wanting the game, is just so you can come on here and be like, "Ha! I told you."
Yes. And you know what? I'm just not going to lose. I'm not going to lose faith because you know what? Look, Final Fantasy 15 was one of the most heartbreaking experiences of my life because the first time I saw that trailer, I remember just like that actually might have been the first time I became a man, but also, but then I had to wait freaking 10 years for it. And look, it was a great game, but it was not worth the 10-year wait.
That's what they do though. Look at Kingdom Hearts.
Well. Yeah, and I have no desire to play Kingdom Hearts 3 again. But no, we can move on. But I just thought that was super interesting.
I'll bash Square and Final Fantasy all day. We can do this. Welcome to the Final Fantasy VII Sucks Cast. I'm your host Zach Anderson.
Whatever. I will say this though. It also mentioned another article talking about their IGN or their E3 presentation. Mentioned that games that are expected to be there, and one of them is the Avengers game that we have not seen anything of in 3 years, and all we saw was that small teaser.
Well, I mean, it is like them to completely miss the mark. Endgame comes out this week. Would have been a great week to release that game. Just throwing that out there. But
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
but at the same time, I mean, like that movie is going to have no problem bringing in billions of dollars.
No,
for-
I'm saying to sell the game, like
Oh,
not for
yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm sure it'll be ready for the 10-year, Blu-ray disc set they release or something.
or it'll be ready when the Blu-ray of Endgame comes out later this year. Like it is very just weird to me that all we got was that small cinematic snippet like 2 or 3 years ago. It might have been 3 years ago, and we have not heard anything since. And so I'm hoping we hear something, but
That's
we
one
can move.
of those ones where I don't even know if that still exists. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, to move along, speaking of superhero games, you can go on, Zach. You can do it.
Well, no, I was gonna say, speaking of superhero games, Rocksteady, the not Rockstar, that's an entirely different studio. Starting to get some leaks that the studio. So next big game that people are kind of assuming is going to be a Batman game, something in the Arkham vein, because that's what they do and they do it very well. But the leak is for a game called Outlaws, and a promo image hit Reddit with some saying that more details will be released on the 26th, which is a few short days from now. Not much is being known what it's going to be, except that it, according to the image, seems to be more of a Red Hood, aka Jason Todd, aka Robin, type thing, which would,
aka Arkham Knight from their last Rockstar game.
Yeah, which would lend itself to a much more, I would think, violent game, because Red Hood's about that life, where Batman necessarily is not. So I'll let Robbie fill in, because Robbie's much more of a DC guy than I am, so Robbie can fill in some of these gaps.
So, like, small spoiler for a game that came out 4 years ago in Arkham Knight.
And you should play it if you haven't played it, because it's really good,
yes.
even with all the tanks. But
yeah, I personally do not. I don't have a lot of problems with the game. I love the game very much. I think it's freaking visually stunning. And I think the combat's just fun. And I think the story is awesome. They take the Jason Todd story and they turn it on its head in a way that I never thought possible. And I will not spoil that, but it's not. Everyone knows the Arkham Knight is actually Jason Todd, and who in the comics goes on to be Red Hood. He does not show up as the Arkham Knight. He shows up as the Red Hood. But here, like I said, they turn that narrative on its head. He ends up being the Arkham Knight, and at the end of the game, he almost like dons the thing of Red Hood. Like it's understood that he becomes the Red Hood at the end of the game. So that's gonna be super compelling if this is what it is. But also, apparently this is made by Rocksteady Montreal.
Correct.
Montreal, who made Batman Origins, which is actually a very underrated game. Arkham Origins.
The problem Origins had was just no one was ready for another Batman game when it came out. You know what I mean? And because it's actually a very decent game when I went back to it. But when it first came out, I was like, I just don't. This feels kind of just like more of this, and I'm good. You know.
I will give it credit where it has some of the best boss battles of the series. Like that fight with Deathstroke is dope. Yeah. But then they have a very annoying one with like Firefly. I think that's his name. But anyway, it was very well done. It gives a really awesome Joker story as well. But they're making this game that Arkham Origins game I think came out in 2013. So theoretically, this game's been in development for almost 6 years. We still do not know what Rocksteady Maine is working on, which again is believed to be it's supposed to be some kind of DC superhero movie in general. But this is what I wanted to get to. I think last week, another leak came out about the game that Rocksteady, Montreal, or Maine were working on, and it sounded in the terms open world loot based game with DC in the DC universe was used. So, Shannon, I throw it at you guys and see what y'all think.
I mean, I hear open world loot based game and I kind of shut down. I'll be honest. Just like, I don't know. There's so many of those now. There's just, I don't know. None of them are really that good. And it's just like, man.
I don't know. I like Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man is kind of close to that. I mean, you were still web slinging around the city. You were still finding the backpacks and all that stuff, and you were still, you were still beating up the bad guys and doing the missions. And even you said in the game, it reminded you more of a Batman game at some parts than a Spider-Man.
True. Now, and I guess that's the one thing I'm assuming multiplayer when I hear those things.
Oh yeah, multiplayer was used as well.
Yeah, if it's a single player game, then sure, I'm on board. But yeah, when I hear multiplayer loot based, blah 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 blah, I'm like, oh no.
So, are you thinking that you're making your own Batman-esque character like type in this game then, and then you're just in this world like a vigilante superhero that's just kind of interacting with?
Or what if it's two different games? You know? Like, well, I know. Okay, I don't want to get away from your theory. If you are like Jason Todd and the Outlaws, because that is an actual name of a comic, Jason Todd and the Outlaws, Arsenal and Starfire, I believe, are part of that group. If I can create my own character and he has like guns like Jason Todd, or he has a bow and arrow like Arsenal, or he has like powers like Starfire, like, I mean, you're basically creating DC Universe online, but like that concept is fine for me. But I agree with Zach's premise. Like, man, I don't know if there's a loot-based game that could be made that I'm going to care about.
Yeah.
Besides Borderlands?
I don't care about Borderlands.
But Borderlands is still a single-player game,
Well, I mean, it's not massive multiplayer, but like, I mean, it is. You can play 4-player co-op.
Sure, and like, yeah, if that's the case, then I'm more interested. Sure, but if it's like freaking Destiny or something, or Anthem or Division, or just keep going, keep naming them, like, it's just, if it's something like that, then I mean, sure, it's got comic book skin on it. That's interesting, but I don't know, like. It would have to. I mean, I should back off a little bit. I like Division 2 a lot. Division 2 is really, really good. But it's still just one of those things where I don't like playing with people. I just don't.
Yeah. What's funny? What's funny is that we thought when Destiny came out that this loot-based shooter was going to just be the craze and was going to go all across the board. And within in 6 years is kind of starting to phase out, where people are starting to get tired. And I'm not saying everybody, this is not some absolute claim, but we're just not seeing a bunch of these games like we expected to see back when Destiny first came out.
Because they're going to be huge. That's the problem. Is like, I mean, every time they do these loot-based open world shooters, the world is small, and the loot is not enough to keep people going. And you see fatigue, like you see boredom, you see, not a lot of people want to carry on in a world where they have to do the same mission on the same part of that planet like 5 times. If you're going to tell people you want an immersive experience, you got to make it bigger. But that doesn't fit into a lot of people's profit to expense ratio. And that's where the struggles are. They want to do a slow rollout. And I think a lot of the consumers want a more robust game in the beginning, and then piecemeal some smaller, bonus missions on later on.
I mean, yeah, I think you're exactly right. That's been my stance with Anthem since launch, is like, I'm going to go back to Anthem in August, and I bet it's pretty good. Like it's, but at launch, that game just wasn't enough. It just wasn't done. But now you said something, you threw it out there right at the beginning of this that I've been mulling over in my mind with the 2 different games. What if it's 2 different games? What if this game is like the multiplayer online loot-based game that actually would affect the single player game if there's 2 different games? Like, I could see, like, you're doing stuff in the universe that will create instances in the single player game or something like that. Like that, I could see where that would be really neat and novel, like something new to the universe. That would be a neat idea.
That would be cool. That would, you know what you just said? You just said the most Kojima thing ever.
Well,
Like-
no, mine it didn't involve naked babies in jars and yeah,
And
a woman
la-
that
and later-
breathes with her skin.
Yeah. Oh man. All right.
But if we're talking Arkham, just you said the boss fight earlier, and it jogged my memory. You know, low key best boss fight in the Arkham games was Solomon Grundy's in Arkham City. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was such a great
Yeah,
version of Solomon Grundy because Solomon Grundy in the comics is just kind of like this big lumbering zombie, you know,
Yeah.
like he's just kind of like a stupid and he's not really all that threatening ever, you know, and they made him so menacing and so like actually scary in that game that it was just one of those like I remember going through that boss fight being like, this is the coolest version of this character I've ever seen. Like this is just great. Like I don't know. It was just one of those things that brought back to me. I was like, man, Solomon Grundy, look what they did with this guy.
I don't think this is too outlandish to say that Arkham City to me is one of the closest games I can say to perfect game. Like it is a perfect 10 for me. Like I don't do review scores. Like I think arbitrary numbers kind of belittle video games in general, but like top to bottom, I just think that is a perfect game. And
it's ridiculously fun. It's ridiculously fun.
And the reveal, like at the end, oh my gosh, it's so freaking good. Oh,
I mean, I really liked Asylum because I liked keeping it all in Arkham.
Yeah,
made it like after a while you got to like know places. You know, it was one of those like, oh, I need to go there. Well, to get there. I know I need to now. I've got to go through this wing and I've got to swing past this building. And there's that point. Like you began to learn the map because it was small in Arkham City, and there was like an intimacy of that game that really played well with it. But City allowed for so much great mechanics, I thought.
Yeah. What do you think, Shannon? Did you play those games?
No, I didn't get in until the what was it, the third one, the
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight. So I don't really have much to say about those games. It was good. The Arkham Knight was good. I think I maybe got halfway through it before something else came out that got my attention. But yeah, I mean they're pretty well revered. So
they released Knight. I know, or Arkham, not Knight. Just Batman Arkham Asylum. They did an HD remake and released that, and I know you can get that on sale pretty often for like $10 or under. That one's worth a pickup if you've never played it.
Well, yeah, and they did. I don't know if you have a PC, if you have a good PC or not, Shannon, but I don't know if they're still doing this, but they gave me a remaster of Arkham City and Arkham Asylum when I bought Arkham Knight.
Oh, nice. No, I don't. I use Macs primarily. So
okay, but yeah, I still think those games hold up. You know, there may be some like the quest design may not be as ideal as it was back then, but but other than that, like I still think those games may still have some of the best combat in video games.
Well, and story wise, they just are so good. They're just. I mean, the Arkham Asylum story, City's a better story because it's more fleshed out. But just like as a Batman story, Arkham Asylum's is great. Like it's killer. It's Mark
Hamill. Mark Hamill freaking deserves all the awards. Like for his portrayal as Joker, man.
All right. Well, we'll stop digging up the past about our love for the Arkham games, and let's talk about some games that are coming up.
Do we care about the games that are coming out?
Well, I care about a few of them. One of them, I know you're going to talk about a little bit, which dropped today, which was Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
I'm ready, you know, because I bounced off of 10 pretty hard. It was just one of those things like I just didn't care about it all that much. But I played through the demo of 11, was into it. I think I've seen that you can get this one already cheap. It's like some places are already discounting it, which is kind of sad in a little way. But yeah, I'm definitely think I'm picking up 11. Robbie's gonna talk a little more about it in a bit. But the other game that's coming up on the 26th, right around the corner, and I am not hearing anything about it, is Days Gone. For those of you that have forgotten, because it's been years, Days Gone was a zombie shooter or third-person zombie shooter where you basically travel around and there are waves of zombies and they're fast moving and they come at you and you're running and shooting and getting away and all this stuff. And every time I looked at it at the past, 2 E3s, it has been rough, like with 8 Fs, like rough looking. And it's, I think, in little telling that I have heard zero talk about this game that has been in development for this long and coming out in 3 days. I mean, does anyone else feel a little nervous about this? Because
the review embargo does not go up until like 12 hours before the game actually releases.
So that's like a movie that doesn't allow reviews until after it's out, right? Like when you just know, like this movie's going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Bethesda started doing this, but it's Bethesda. Like we trust them. But this, and I have no problem with Sony Bend, but the fact that this game has obvious, from what we have been told on its history, and then going back to the drawing board and the preview event back in February, and how so many people came back. Like you can find I saw a couple people come back like really impressed, but the majority of people that I have the same video game taste with came back just not impressed at all. They said it was the most generic shooter. The character is uninteresting. The story is not compelling. And actually, I can say this. I do not have to tell you who his name is, but I have a buddy who works at the IGN equivalent in Brazil, and he's been playing Days Gone for 3 days now. And I will read you exactly the conversation that we had. His words, these are not mine. And I asked him, I was like, okay, bro, is Days Gone worth playing? It's cool, nothing fantastic, but the story is dope. And the world isn't too big to the point that it overstays its welcome. It's kind of generic, but if you like open world games and enjoy the story, you'll be fine. And then he said, my biggest question was it worth $60? And here's probably the biggest, that was probably the biggest take. His answer was probably the biggest. I said, because I'm playing God of War right now again. And he said, I don't know if it's $60 worth, but I do think it's worth playing. So, and now that I just realized that I did that, Shannon, we'll definitely have to make sure this episode releases on Friday when the review embargo drops. So.
All right. I'll make sure it goes out on Friday.
But yeah, that's that just didn't give me any hope. Like, and honestly, Zach, I think, or even Shannon, I had forgotten about this game completely.
Yeah, that was kind of me too. I was looking through the calendar of some stuff we could talk about and some things that I were names that I recognize as far as games released, and all of a sudden there's Days Gone on the list. I'm like, oh yeah, that game. I forgot about that game.
Yeah, I saw a commercial for it and I was like, wow, like I totally forgot that game was even still a thing. Like I thought it already came out. Like I was just like, oh, this is new. Oh,
and
okay.
And you know what? From the sounds of it, this will be, correct me if I'm wrong, but this will be Sony's first disappointing exclusive.
Well, I mean, it's not out yet, so let's not,
If true,
I'm not willing to bury it before.
I'll tell you this much:
born,
it is the first Sony exclusive that I won't be buying day one.
Yeah, there is that.
Outside of Knack, I did not buy Knack.
I mean, who knows? Friday could hit and it could be like everyone saying like, wow, this game's such a surprise and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'd
It's got
probably
so
pick
much
it up.
heart.
Yeah.
You know, the character has such heart. The character is really good. I mean, because my friend even said the story is really good, and for me that matters a lot.
Mhm.
You know,
Totally.
and I do remember. I remember that first trailer where apparently like the part of this game is the physics of there being so many zombies on screen. But I've played Dead Rising. Like I've seen a lot of zombies on screen before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you think, Shannon? Are you into zombie games, man? Are you?
You know, I was into the zombie games for a little while. And it was probably a couple years ago when maybe like The Walking Dead was huge and like Telltale had their like Walking Dead series. I think I played I played the Left 4 Dead games. Like I was always a fan of those. But yeah, I think with Walking Dead just getting as popular as it was and everything being like a zombie movie or a zombie game like for a while, it kind of just fatigued me on that whole genre. And I think Dying Light was the last one I really enjoyed.
Oh, I love that game. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean that one I was terrified to go out at night for like a long time in that game. And that one did a very good job of keeping me wanting to go back and playing that game. This one, I think I'm just past caring about zombies. And I think like I'll wait for it to drop down in price, but over the past couple weeks, there's been a lot of games that we've been talking about that I haven't completed or I've only played small snippets of. I'd rather go back and put some time into Horizon Zero Dawn and getting like games like that have a little bit more like clout.
Or watch Cap 2,
Oh yeah, I still gotta do that. But
Yeah, the
life gets busy, dude. Like I can only watch so much at a time.
I understand.
It has holiday sale written all over it for me. Like I'll be honest. So
I just it's sad. Like it's not sad because God of War is freaking amazing, but again, like a Sony exclusive for me, the Sony fanboy. Like it's just kind of a bummer to not be super excited and wanting to get this game day one. And it goes back to I am zombied out. Like I am completely zombied out. Like I know Last of Us 2 is going to be incredible, but there is a part of me that doesn't want to play it because I don't care about zombies anymore. I just don't care about this post-apocalyptic survival against this force of nature that you can't control. Like I'm just so sick of it. It's so tired. And look, I was a huge Walking Dead fan. I read the comics. I watched the show until Negan showed up, and I was just done. I was just done with the show, and so I'm just done with zombies, and that's not a fault of these games, and I don't want to hold that against it. Like that's my preference. That's on me. So if we walk up, if I wake up Thursday and it's like getting incredible reviews and it's like balling, then you're right, Zach. I probably will play it. I probably will. But right now.
But if it's a good story, but the game's kind of then I'll wait till the story costs me $20 or less.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. Speaking of post-apocalyptic and games I've kind of forgotten about, Rage 2 comes out May 14th.
You're lying.
I'm dead serious. Rage 2. You guys remember that one?
Another loot-based shooter, right?
That's the one with the crazy like force powers, almost like where like you can like shockwave people up into the air and like shoot them, and it's like the crazy colored, like techno-colored, like 80s.
Yeah. They basically said, hey, Rage was like a pretty good shooter, but you know what sold really well was Borderlands. So why don't we make our Rage look like Borderlands now? Which I found kind of funny. Because I was one of the people that actually really liked the first Rage. I mean, it was generic in a lot of ways, but it had that thing that Bungie has where the guns felt really good. Like it's the thing that kept me playing Destiny, even though Destiny bored me to tears. Was I liked shooting things in that with their like setups, and if they can, I'm kind of hoping Rage 2 is the Assassin's Creed 2. Like Rage was the proof of concept, and now they're going to use what they learned to make a really good game. I really kind of hope that's it. but we will see. I mean, that one's going to be. I'm going to have to see what people are saying about it before I jump on that bandwagon. But you know what? I kind of am ready for a first person shooter. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had a good first person shooter.
Well, let me tell you, Doom Eternal is coming this year, so
That is
you'll get it there. I
mean, what Wolfenstein? Wolfenstein was the last like good first person shooter I played. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember us saying like, where are the first person shooter story games? Like, man, I know we're gonna do this probably at the end of May or beginning of June of our E3 wish list.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, number one on the list, because I've already got my Star Wars fix. Number one at the top of the list is easy. I want a new BioShock game. I want a new BioShock game so bad.
Like, even if that means no Ken Levine involvement, because
because other people can tell great stories.
Yeah,
like look at Horizon Zero Dawn.
Sure. Well, I mean, or look at BioShock 2, which I think is very underrated.
Where do you go? Where would you like to see, like in the next BioShock game? Like
to see SEA? Where would you like to see?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it only makes practical sense if you've already gone underwater, if you've already gone in the air. Let's go to space.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go in the ground.
I mean, like, or just, it doesn't even have to be a post-apocalyptic in any sense whatsoever. Like, BioShock is supposed to be a utopia that is perceived as a utopia, but is really a failure of a utopia. So anywhere like that, I mean, that place can be done anywhere, So that's what I would want, and I just want. Again, we can talk about this at the E3, but I miss the first person shooter story experience, and I wish it would come back.
I agree. I definitely agree. I'm sick of all this multiplayer silliness.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a game that I'm interested in that's coming up. It's coming out April 25th. And I don't know if you guys are fans of the SteamWorld, any of the SteamWorld series.
Yes, definitely.
SteamWorld Quest is coming out on Thursday, and it's a departure from their other games. This one's more of a card based. It's got a card system attached to it. It's a turn-based card RPG fighting style game. So I'm a fan of the other types of games that they've come out with, like with SteamWorld and SteamWorld Dig 2. SteamWorld Heist was a really good game for the iOS platforms, and I think they even brought that over to the Switch too. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of everything they do in this SteamWorld kind of like setting.
SteamWorld universe. Yeah,
and like the early reviews on the game are pretty strong, high 8s, 8.5, like 9. So I mean, it seems to me like it's probably going to be something that I'm going to be able to spend a lot of time in. And since it's on the Switch, it's probably something that I'm going to be playing more frequently than something that's on my console. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try.
I'm kind of with you on that. Those guys make great stuff. Like SteamWorld Dig 2 is one of my all-time favorite games. I love that game. And looking at the trailer that they put up for this, it looks like comfortably familiar, but the card battling system makes it a little fun. Like I could see where you could do some chains and challenges there that would go beyond just your standard, pick the spell menu of the standard JRPG setup. So I'm on board. And those guys tell really good stories. That's the thing, is like, that's what made SteamWorld Dig 2 so good, is the story that's happening all around that weird ass Metroid like game is great, and it's really compelling. And so I'm curious to see how that translates into a more story based medium.
And you can't go wrong for $25 either. I mean, like with their pedigree and the enjoyment that you've got in their games, like $25 is like a pretty good entry level price for me to put some skin in this game. So,
and then I also think it's interesting. At the end of May, Team Sonic Racing is coming out, like on everything. just to try to get ahead of the Crash Team Racing refueled or whatever it is, nitro fueled, that's coming out June 21st. So it's like a full month ahead of it. It's like, well, we're gonna get our kart racer out there. But yeah, so some kart racing is in your future if that's your jam. But otherwise, it's shaping up to be some pretty decent things. I'm hoping it's no one wants bad games. I'm hoping Days Gone is rad. I think Mortal Kombat looks rock solid. Steam World Quest is probably going to be decent and fun. The one thing that for existing games that's coming out, Robbie, do you have any interest in the Avengers promotion that's coming to Fortnite?
It's funny you should say that. So, as many of you know, if you've been listening to this long enough, or if you listen to us at the Gaming Outsider, I played Fortnite day one when it added the Battle Royale mode, and I played it for almost a year and a half, almost every day for God knows how long, with the same group of friends. Loved that game. Really, the only reason why I started falling off of it is because of school, youth pastor stuff. Oh, and by the way, having a baby.
Little things.
Things. However, and so I hadn't really played it since February very, very much. And then this past weekend, me and a couple of buddies, I think it was on Thursday night, we jumped on and we started playing, and man, we forgot how freaking fun Fortnite is, and how just that they've taken airplanes out of it. They put those in the vault. They've added some really cool weapons that I did not know existed. And then they put the hamster wheels are in the game. The hamster globes are in the game now too, which is really fun. But whenever you ask me about this Avenger stuff, like, I can tell you this much: on Thursday, when I get home from in-game, I will be playing Fortnite because I want whatever skin or whatever thing is going on in their event.
Well,
that looks awesome.
In the promos, they showed Stormbreaker, which is Thor's axe, and Cap's shield are the two things that have been tweeted out as like promos. So I'm guessing those are weapons you could get and use in the game.
So something cool is, like, you can wear the things that they have allowed you to, like cosmetic stuff, is obviously your full skin. Like your costume fully, but it's their created skin. You can customize your hang glider, you can customize your backpack, you can customize the skins on your weapons, the colored stuff on your weapons, and like basically what follows you as you fall through the sky. And they've on the backpacks, they've started adding like little animals on the back of your backpacks, like a gerbil. One of them's a gerbil. One of them is a gingerbread man, and the one that I just recently got is a puppy. Like, there's a dog, a husky dog, and your teammates can actually go up to him and pet him, and he'll interact with them. And I know that sounds super cheesy and dumb, but it's also just something like really cool that they just added to the game. But no, I'm super excited for this. I think this is really cool that they added this stuff, that they're going to continue to do really fun things with this game that people love.
And I just think it goes to show again how they're just the smartest people in the game right now. Like, they can read the room. They constantly improve their product. They constantly bring in, relevant tie-ins to their product. I mean, they had the NFL earlier. They're breaking the fourth wall in extremely smart ways that doesn't damage their game or their fan base at all, and it enhances it. And it's just amazing to me to watch the Fortnite team work. Because I mean, if I just laid all of that out on a chart and said like, and is this like the biggest game ever? You'd be like, no, God, no. What? This is a mess. Look at this thing, But it all works, and it all works in great. I mean, they had a live concert in Fortnite, and it was a huge success. Like, wait, what? I mean, you remember when we were all kids, and well, for me and Shannon anyway, you'd be talking about like Super Mario Brothers 3 on the playground, and you all knew that one kid that had it and blah blah blah, and you'd go over there and play. And I'm sure for Robbie it was, trash like Final Fantasy VII or something you were all talking about. But like my 5-year-old comes home from school and talks about Fortnite. Like the kids on his playground are talking about Fortnite. Like that is astounding to me. Like that is crazy that it is permeated to little kids on the playground level. It
really helps that it's free. Like that.
Absolutely. I mean, your best drug dealers will tell you first hit's always free.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Well, on that note, why don't we go to what we're playing? I'm just gonna get mine out of the way real quick because I was just looking at everything and could not be asked to play anything I had sitting there. Like I was just I had time. Like weird things happened in the week, and I had a couple hours here and there throughout the week where I'm like, I want to play something, but I don't want to play any of this, And so I did something really random, and it's funny because Shannon brought it up earlier. I started playing Spider-Man again.
Oh wow!
I just started up a new game of Spider-Man because I had 100%ed the map on the last one, and so I cracked up the difficulty 1 click. It's not the highest; it's like just below that, and started up again. And goddamn, that's a great game. Like there's just something about that game that it still starts way too slow. Like I still maintain they need to open up that combat a lot faster. Though I will say, having played it once, knowing what to upgrade and when to unlock stuff and how to kind of min-max that makes that a much more fun experience because I'm not just like randomly picking things and poking things. I'm like, okay, I know I need the web swing, the kick in the air. I know I need to get this, to be able to pull the guns off of guys. And I know I need to be able to redirect rockets. And as I'm going through, so it's like, okay, this is the ability I need to get that. This is how I get there. This is how I do that. And it just, it made it a lot more fun faster. But I still love the story in that. The radio beats as you're swinging around the city with Jonah's like talking about the things you just did.
That was so brilliant. So brilliant making him like a podcast host. That was so brilliant.
And I still have my issues with that game, but just when you don't have anything else to do, just to sit and play something, it's such a great palate cleanser of a game because it's just fun. It's just a fun game. Like it tells a good story. It doesn't bog itself down too much until the Sinister Six get out and it turns into a Batman game for a while. That part still bums me out. But when it's the bright, fun Spider-Man swinging around Manhattan, it's great. And that's just all I've been playing because I've just sucked myself back into that. So,
oh man, well, I haven't really been playing anything new either. I was going through some of my old games and deciding which ones I was going to sell and which ones I was going to keep. And I came across Titanfall 2, and I remembered how much fun I had playing that game. So I went back and did some played through that game again. And man, like I love that level where you're on the side of the ship, like you're running through the side of the ship.
Yes.
That level is awesome.
The time travel level, man.
Yeah, no, I like that one, but like just as far as like feeling badass and like running around and just kicking ass and taking names, that level when you're on the side of the ship is pretty dope. Like, I mean that I want to go back to the game
the world building level where you're in the factory.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a trip.
Yeah, that it's funny because when Robbie's like time travel level, and I was gonna say the world building level, I'm like, wait, actually, every level in that game's amazing.
and that game is why I'm excited to see what they can do with Jedi Order, with the Fallen Order, or whatever. Like I just trust these guys. Like look, and I'm gonna tell you this: like they will, if Fallen Order, obviously, if Fallen Order is good and it's as great as Titanfall 2 is, they're gonna be one of those developers that I say any game they make, I'm down for. Any game.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, they're at the point. Titanfall 2 made Respawn a day one anytime. Like any game, day one, I'm buying a Respawn game.
Yeah.
Like just I'm there. And it's because of Titanfall 2 and how good that game is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So what else, Shannon? Is that it? Or
Yeah, that's
you just
it.
been jamming that?
Yeah, that's it. Like I have a story if we have time for it at the end about I finally got my TV traded in, but so yeah, this week was dealing with that and getting the new TV set up. So there wasn't a lot of video game playing in my week, but the one time I did have, it was playing Titanfall.
So just really quickly, I was sitting. I have like a little mini desk where I record with you guys, and I just opened up one of these little drawers that I didn't even pay attention to, and what was in it was one of the BioShock Infinite Collector Edition things, and it's the key that has either the Songbird or the cage on it.
Nice.
And just another reminder: BioShock Infinite, best game ever made. I have been just really quickly continuing my new journey through God of War, and I did the narrative mode this time. I just wanted to play that story again.
Sure.
And the reason being is because I played on hard mode the first time, and if you don't remember, about halfway through that game, when you're not leveled up high enough, they give you access to start to go do the Valkyrie missions, or to get the higher level, the like temporal, the guys you have to fight off through the temporal hole or whatever that'll come out, and you will get rocked. one hit deaths in that game. So or during that part. So I just want to do the narrative. I just want to play it through, and just especially now having a kid again, like. And I'm sure you two will appreciate this. There was a moment where, and I'll promise I'll move on quickly. There's a moment after something happens with Atreus where he almost falls down a bridge or falls off the bridge, and you pull him back, and he's still like running up ahead. And no, I'm sorry. Is it? Yeah, it's them. And he just turns around. Kratos just turns around. And he says, I can't do this without you.
Yeah.
And it's really just this moment of realization, like, you may not be able to, but you have to. Like, you don't have a choice. And I don't know. There's just was really powerful for me, especially because, like, the looming situation of my wife deploying in January, like, I may not know how to do this, but it doesn't matter. I have to. You know, like that's just, and I'm going to continue to talk about this game in correlation to my own life experience. I apologize, but like I just,
that game is built for it. There are conversations in that game. There's a moment outside of Freya's when you first get there where Atreus has a knife, and he's basically walking him through about like the power he has with a weapon in his hands. And there is a moment in that conversation. I've had that conversation with my son. Like, I've had that conversation. And it's one of those things, like, playing that moment, and it happened, and I set the controller down. Like, it was just one of those, like, weird things where I'm like, I've said that. Like, I've actually said, and there are so many moments in that game that, as a father, speak to you directly. And it's weird because Kratos is not fucking dad of the year. Let's stop mince words. He's not a good guy. He's not a good father in any way.
Yes. He tells Atreus straight up, we kill who we have to.
Yeah.
Like he is not a good dad. He is not a good person. But he tries. He really does try.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is, especially playing through all of the others, it's one of those things where you see a man wrestling with himself to make his son better. And if you can't relate to that as a father, then you probably really shouldn't be a dad, because every single one of us has faults. And every single one of us does not want our son to repeat those faults into themselves. And so you try to be like, it's something I say all the time. My son makes me a better man. And because he's better than me. And that's simply because he does not have my faults in him. And I'm trying my damnedest to keep them out of him. And it is, I don't know if I'll succeed, but it is one of those things where that game brings those moments to a head so often, and it speaks to you so directly when you're in that position. It's just, it's special. It's really special.
It really is. And this is just a complete side tangent, but
sure.
It really frustrates me when I listen to, and I'm going to call it out for what it is. When I listen to Giant Beastcast and I listen to certain people like Alex, or I listen to Abby, and they just belittle the crap out of it. They belittle the conversations. They belittle Kratos talking to his son and talking about, killing people. Like they focus on that. They focus on what Kratos does wrong, and they don't focus on the small moments of actually trying to show character growth within Kratos, because it is so micro. It is so micro of what has changed in him. And it frustrates me. This is not me. I did not develop the game, so I'm not going to defend it in some like valiant effort. But I'm just going to say, if you can only see the small annoying conversations and not the big conversations that mean so much, like I just feel like you're tunnel visioned and you don't really care if this game is good or not. You're not giving it a fair chance.
Well, and to that point, when you look at it next to, say, Vinny, when he talks about the game,
he almost broke down during the game of year.
When he, because like I almost just did. There are moments in that game that, I mean, as a dad, they rip you up. They just do, and it's
like the first time Atreus kills. The first time Atreus kills a human because he's trying to defend himself, and he is shaken, he is broken, he is now going through this metamorphosis of a character, and Kratos holds him. And he touches his face, and he holds him.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
My son hopefully will never have to kill someone to defend himself.
Yeah. Yes.
But every time my son does something, and he does something and he starts to cry because he doesn't understand why it happened the way it did, I embrace him, I hug him, and I kiss him on the head, and I just say, "I love you, little man. I got you." And in his own little way, Kratos did that to Atreus in that moment, and it just meant so much. This game is like I understand that there are a couple problems with this game.
Oh yeah.
It is not a perfect game, but dadgummit, that story and those characters are perfect, and I will not back down from that. So, sorry, Shannon, have you played this game?
Yeah, I beat it.
Do you agree with all of us? Are you going to cry too, or is it just us?
Yeah, do not trust me. Like I'm just it was an emotional roller coaster of a game, because I think I was still in that same I was probably my son was probably around the same age that yours is now. Maybe a little younger. So it was pretty heart-wrenching, and I'm an emotional basket case when it comes to anything that relates to my son anyway. So I was a big pile of mush a lot of the time through that game. But I just gave it to my dad to play, so we'll see how he feels about it.
I would actually be really curious to hear your dad's take, as the father of a his son is grown
man.
Yeah, I'm looking at where my son's 5, he's a little boy. So I'd be really curious to hear his perspective on, a lifetime of reflection. He's done all that work. You know what I mean? So it's I'd be curious to see what he thinks.
Yeah,
he's dealt with the parts, or I'm sorry, I was going to say he's dealt with the parts that when Shannon was a little piece of crap. Just like Kratos does when he deals with Atreus whenever Atreus is a little piece of crap.
Yeah, when Atreus figures out he's a god and you can't tell him nothing, kind of all of us when we were 15.
And I won't lie, that is probably one of the worst spans of the game.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like,
but
straight
but
up.
I think it's by design, like because it's one of
Yes,
those
it
like
is.
you basically you know, I mean, he hits his teenage years. You can't tell him nothing in that time, you know, like, and you're 100% wrong and F you, dad, you know, like, and yeah, I remember being that little asshole, you know, like, absolutely.
But Shannon, I cut you off, buddy. What else were you gonna say?
Oh no, there was nothing else I was gonna say. I said maybe
Okay.
we'll get him on here for a reaction, see what he thinks.
Okay. Well, I will try my best, listeners, to not bring up a game that is a year old too many more times.
Yeah, this has been 2018's Game of the Year cast. Apparently,
Yeah.
I'm playing Spider-Man, God of War.
Yeah,
Titanfall
why don't
2.
you bring up Mortal Kombat 11? Let's go.
That is where I'm heading. So
Let's take a hard left into modern day, and
Yes.
let's talk about some Mortal Kombat.
So, just to give you a little background, Mortal Kombat is not one of my favorite fighters. I am a fighting game fan. Like, I own a lot of fighting games. I have a fighting stick somewhere. Oh, it's actually right here beside me. I've never shown you guys this.
Nice.
Yeah. I love fighting games. But however, Mortal Kombat just has never been that game for me. I've played them all in some form or fashion, but I'm just not a huge fan. 9, I did play quite a bit of 9 just because it just felt like a huge evolution, a huge step forward in the series. It was kind of like what Street Fighter 4.
With the story mode, it was amazing.
Yes. So 9 is probably the Mortal Kombat that I spent the most time with my entire life. Just because I never owned a Mortal Kombat game, never really desired it. I just to be completely open and honest, I'm not huge on the whole gratuitous violence in a game. Like, this is not me. I'm not gonna be self-righteous and say don't do that. Like, whatever you want to do, man, you can. Like, I'm the one who played Outlast 2 and they murdered babies in that game. So like, it is what it is. But so I know there's some contrarianism there. However, I spent an hour and a half today at my local GameStop. Shut up, Shannon. Don't freaking jinx it. I know that's exactly what Zach is thinking too. Just shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry guys. I'm not even gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
So
I've been purposely not talking.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yes.
Yep. I know. And I wish you could see the giant screen TV to my right. So I went to my local GameStop. And for an hour and a half, I actually a buddy that works there let me sit down and play with the game. I got to play against him. I got to play against this really cool kid named James, whose hair was a little bit longer than I probably would have preferred, but that's another story. But no, man, I dove into this game. I played with. So there's 22 characters to start off with in the game. You can open up 2 through gameplay, through however many ways, which leads to only 24 characters, which is kind of a bummer because I know how many characters there are in the Mortal Kombat universe, but still 22 out the gate is pretty darn good. I'm going to talk about the stuff outside of the combat and then get to the combat at the end.
How many different modes are there for unlocking the rest of the characters?
If I understand correctly, there are only 2. There are 2 different ways you can go through their conquer mode with a K. Of course,
yes.
And then a normal combat mode that you can do, like yes, and then you can do like arcade. You can go through the arcade mode. They have a customizable thing in this game. It is a lot like Injustice 2 in the way that you can change the way your character looks. A lot of cosmetic stuff there. However, they did what Injustice 2 did, and they've added stuff that will give you boosts in certain ways, certain buffs. Whether it's a different abilities, different the way certain things will affect in the middle of a match. 14% boost in this, 7% boost in that, just across the board. The one thing though that I did not realize is that like you have to put on 2 or 3. You can put on 2 or 3 customizable buffs, and then you can create one.
Oh, really?
Like you can literally create a customizable token in the game. Now I did not get to, because this was not connected online, so I did not get to see what this looks like. But there are 5 different aspects that to create one coin, and it's almost like this is such a bad comparison, but it looked kind of like in the game Eternal Darkness when you can create your own spells in the game.
Okay.
It looks like you can create your own emblem, customizable emblem that will do a certain buff or do a certain shader or will do something in the match to help or hurt you. Which I thought was just really dope. So they've really
That sounds like a cool evolution of the Injustice system.
yes, agreed.
Yeah.
And I played the crap out of Injustice 2, but just like most fighting games today, like once you get done with their, for me at least, once you get through with their story, like I kind of just lose steam. Like I don't, I'm 33. I have a kid. I don't. Oh, Shannon, that's why you don't say crap. I don't have time to sit down and become incredible at a fighting game because like I can play. Fortnite doesn't take a lot. Overwatch doesn't take a lot, but a fighting game does because there's so many different characters, different varieties, and you know you got to learn these moves. So to the moves, the combat in this game is freaking awesome.
Nice, nice.
It is awesome. Like maybe I've just missed out, but the animations in this game, like the first match I played was the time travel guy, the time control guy, Karis.
That's a new character, right?
Yeah, it's like I think it's Karis. It's Karis, and he played Sub-Zero, who is normally my main when I play Mortal Kombat because Sub-Zero is dope. Man, just how smooth it is, how tight it is, how easy it is to now do moves in this game and to perform combos and to perform your quote unquote special moves and to just, I don't know, man, like just to do stuff. It was just so awesome. It was easy. And the game is freaking gorgeous. That game, that might be one of the most gorgeous outside of Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which just looks just like the anime or better than anime. I don't know if there's been a better looking fighter than Mortal Kombat.
So my question, so you said the controls are easier to maneuver around now. So like is it not as, I don't know, like
down back X was a move.
Okay, so you don't have to do like the quarter or like the half turn.
No, there is no quarter circle, half circle, none of that. Like it is like down back X, down X, down back B, whatever controller you're using, or hold down R2 and A, like does something. Like it just. I didn't have long to learn the controls, but within the time that I was there, I could do most of Karis's moves in during the fight, and then they have this thing which I think they added in a different game, but like they have a kill shot kind of thing in the last like fifth of your health, where you can press down just the two triggers and do like a cinematic attack that will try to basically bring your opponent down to your level as far as health.
Okay, so and is it a blockable attack or is it just like, I mean, can they get out of that?
I'm not sure. Neither one of us tried to. Like we were just like, let's just watch and see. Like it was just kind of like this goofing off kind of thing. Like let's see what happens. And then I played the James kid, and I let him do a fatality on me. Holy crap! These fatalities are intense. I have not seen any said fatalities at all. So I saw Sub-Zero's. Dear gracious, he freezes you. He freezes you all the way up to basically where your head and neck are, and creates a guillotine around your neck, and then creates an ice axe and cuts your head off. Then holds up your head, freezes it, and then punches it so it shatters in front of the screen.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was quite intense. But no, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I walked away from this game, the hour and a half. Like I was like, I kind of want this game. Like because I was like, I'm probably not gonna buy Days Gone. I don't know what game I'm gonna play over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Now, did they do what they did? I forget which one it was. I think it was 10. Do they do the tokens for fatality so you don't have to do the actual move?
So I did not get to jump. We just played arcade mode and just dilly-dally with that. But from what I've understood by other people who've talked about the game, they do have these like token systems where you can just do like 1 or 2 button fatalities. With that said, though, the fatalities are not hard to do by themselves.
Okay.
And they've made them a whole lot easier to where now you don't have to be like within a sweep kick away. You know, like it's not really that. There still is some range to it, but it's not nearly as specific as, I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was so annoying. Like you had to be a heavy punch close to be able to do this move or that move. But also, like, I don't know, it was just back to the customizable thing, like just Sub-Zero specifically. I was able to customize what frozen weapon he's going to use to uppercut you. I could like between the axe or between a handle, like between a hammer, like, but also like the knives that he carries on his little shurikens that he carries on his side. Like I could change those. Like it was just really awesome to see how much detail they've put in this game. And I want to just have a complete quick side conversation. And I want to throw this at you guys because I was asked this tonight. Like, let's just say that video games ends tomorrow. Like the history of video games ends tomorrow. Ed Boon has to be on the Mount Rushmore of video games, right? Like of video game developers.
I mean,
it's like the top 4 all time.
We'll say top 5, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough. Like, I mean, like, I don't really. I mean, like, developers and things like that. Like, I don't really pay too much attention to their pedigrees. So I would probably defer more to you guys than anything. Just,
like, I mean, obviously Miyamoto goes on there. Like that's completely understood and not even discussion. But like, you just think about what he was doing back in the 90s with like motion capture stuff, and it's a continue. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just thinking about that today. Like, even someone who doesn't really play those games, like, he's got to be up there, right? Like, I mean, if not on there, he's like on deck.
I mean, I'd put him. I'd probably put him in that like next tier down because I mean, when you're talking like, I'd have Kojima over him. I'd probably do like
what?
I mean,
I do as well. I do as well.
I know, but like John Carmack would probably be up there. I mean, maybe like a Molyneux, maybe. Or like a Sid Meier.
I just don't know who's been doing it longer and consistently great. Like, yeah, that 2002 to 2006 range is a little iffy with some of those games. Sure. The chess game and the chess in the middle of a Mortal Kombat game might not have been the best, but that was also just a weird time for games in general. And we don't have to get into this conversation. We can maybe have that out at some later time, maybe where we can rank fighting games. But I just sat back and just thought about Ed Boon in general and what he means to video games. And the dude has just got a hand in video games that a lot of people don't have. And
I mean, he's definitely cut out his niche. Like he's gotten to the point where, to your point, I don't think you can tell the story of video games without, NetherRealms and Ed Boon anymore.
Yeah.
Or Midway. You just can't. So I think in that regard, like, yeah, he's created a hell of a legacy for himself.
Yeah. It's cool. Sure. We don't have to keep going on that. It was just an interesting thought, and I thought I would just throw that at you guys. But if you are on the fence at all about playing this, if you like fighting games, I highly recommend this. And from what I've been told by a couple of buddies who have played it, the story mode is dope. Apparently, like this, like either the end of a trilogy with 9, 10, 11, or this begins a new trilogy. Like one of those, I can't remember which one, but apparently, like it's supposed to be mind-blowingly great. So,
all right, I'm probably gonna pick this one up. I've bought all of them. I'm kind of a sucker for Mortal Kombat, and you telling me that it seems to be more of a return to form with a lot of Injustice's good parts sprinkled in. Like, okay, I'm on board for that.
So here's the question: how does the Switch version look? Did you get a chance to see that?
No, but there's no freaking way it's going to look as good. Like, and I understand that's a complete. Of course, Robbie, it's not going to. But this game, I was playing on a normal PlayStation, and it looked crisp. Like, and I've got a PS4 Pro, so I can't even imagine what it would look like on that. But I want to really, now that you said that, I didn't even think about that, Shannon. Now I freaking want to know what it looks like. Even not even just graphically. I want to know what it looks like gameplay wise.
Mhm.
Like, does it have a non-blood mode? Does it?
Yeah.
You know, instead of fatalities, does it like? Do you just give him a bear hug? You just give him a bear hug. You know.
Does it bring back the friendships from like Mortal Kombat 2
or brutalities or
you have brutalities? Yeah.
Yeah. That's super interesting.
Well, okay, so that's what we've been playing. But we're going to wrap up the show tonight we're going to announce the next movie series we're going to rank. It's going to be a short one, but it should be a fun one. It's something we've all started talking about randomly, and it got animated, and we're like, we should do this one. Let's do this. So it's going to be Die Hard. Die Hard is the next one. There are five.
Yay, mother effer.
Yep, there are 5 movies. They're Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard, aka Die Hard 4, and A Good Day to Die Hard.
So it's a bad title.
and apparently there is a 6th one in the works just called McClane. So
of course there is. And you know what I guarantee you that is? It's the Logan version of John McClane.
Well, I mean, they've basically given him superpowers now, so that works. But,
yeah. I can't wait to talk about Live Free Die Hard, where they completely just changed the game.
Or they just say F it. Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited.
I have thoughts. I have thoughts about all of those movies. I do need to rewatch Die Hard 2 because it's been a minute since I've seen that one. So.
I have to watch 2 and 3 again. I don't remember the last time when I watched them.
Into I was thinking about that the other day, but yeah, like
and man, I have thoughts about A Good Day to Die Hard. By the way, like that movie.
I have some very strong thoughts, very strong thoughts about Live Free or Die Hard. So that's but we'll do this in the next coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Maybe probably next month, hopefully.
We can knock it out next week, I think. I mean, it's just
hell no, we can't because we have a certain movie that comes out this week.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about that game next week on the show.
Yeah. We will. Next show we will definitely be discussing some Endgame. We
will not spoil it, but we will definitely be talking about it.
Yes.
I want to just really quickly. You made a statement last week, and we do not have to belabor because it is almost 1:00 for me. But unfortunately, it's OT playoff hockey, so I will be staying up a little bit longer. You made a statement that Iron Man created Marvel's own Star Wars, and you're 100% right. However, it did not hit me that that's what they had created until tonight when I watched Infinity War. And the first time, oh man, what was I going to say? It did not hit me until the first time that Thor restarts the forge. Okay. And the sun, the sun beams through him. And I just was like, and I said this out loud, and Lisa looked at me like I was a crazy person. And I was like, holy crap, Zach is right. And she looked at me weird, and she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, Zach said that they created a Star Wars with the Iron Man, and Infinity War is this like culmination of all of these films, and this film that everything matters. Like even Thor 2, which is fine. Iron Man 2. Everything matters leading up to this. And it's just like with Rise of Skywalker, in December,
Mhm.
even the prequels, everything matters. Everything matters to leading up into this culminating film that will hopefully, will tie everything together. And the only movies to do that are the Star Wars movies. And because look, The Hobbit didn't do that. Like the
Nah.
3 Hobbit movies did not connect, even though they tried to shoehorn every connection they possibly could. They did not connect into the trilogy or the Lord of the Rings trilogy the way they wanted. But so no one's been able to do Star Wars like Star Wars until this Marvel universe. And so I just wanted to give you credit. Like
Oh, well, thank you.
it really does just, guys, can y'all like just put this in perspective? We're going to see the end of Star Wars. We're going to see the end of Game of Thrones. We're going to see the end of the Avengers, technically, in the same year.
I know, man. What the hell are we gonna do with ourselves?
It's gonna be a real sad year.
Theoretically, yeah.
You're gonna need to find something to cling to.
Yeah. But no, that's all I got. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, all right. Shannon, you got anything else for us?
No, I'm cool.
Well, very well then. No. But Jesus. Okay. All right. I'll stop talking. Well, that is our show for this week. Follow us on Twitter if you would like at That Pixel Life. Join the Facebook group. That's where you'll find most of us posting stuff and having some decent discussions. Shoot us a review on iTunes if you feel so inclined. It definitely helps us out, get new people and spread the experience. Or just, you know what? Play the show for someone you like. Just say, hey, listen to this show. See what you think. Let me know what you think about it. Just, you know, help spread the word, if you will.
And whoever left us that iTunes review a couple weeks ago, thank you. Like, it was just very positive, and it was just super encouraging. It made my day whenever I got to read it the other day.
Yeah, and I've asked for some feedback, and we've gotten it. And I know Shannon has gone through some links to eliminate some background noise and make it a more pleasurable audio experience, which I hope is coming through and is appreciated because Shannon works his ass off on it. So I hope so. And amazing work, Mr. Moore. Thank you so much. But if no one else has anything else, then go see Endgame and have yourself a great week.
Bye.
All right.